Well, hey everybody, Casey here. I hope you guys are having a great week. I am hanging out outside. It's a beautiful day. It's been a really nice week out. I'm actually not feeling too great today. A little bit sick, got a little bit of a sore throat and a fever, but I'm hoping that this nice weather helps me feel a little bit better. I'm hanging out at Josh Whitlow's house. He's our campus pastor at Perrysburg. I've been house sitting for him for the past week or so. We've been dog sitting, so I'll let you say hi to Mr. Rizzo. Hey Rizzo. Hey. Can you say hi? No? He does this thing where he kind of like turns his head and it's really cute. But anyways, my wife and I have been watching him all week, which has been super fun. But I want to take a second and walk you guys through our small group guides for this weekend. This is one video. I'm going to spend the first kind of chunk of it going through our 1st through 3rd grade group guides, and the second chunk of it will be 4th and 5th grade. And so bear with me. This weekend is moving on up. It's a huge deal. We got a bunch of kindergartners who are going to be coming up to 1st grade for the very first time. Their first time hanging out with us in elementary. And so for you 1st grade group leaders, I would just encourage you and remind you and challenge you to help those 1st graders feel as comfortable as we can, get to know them a little bit about their life, and help them feel at ease as they make that transition. We want that to be as smooth as possible. And for you 5th grade group leaders, you're going to have some kids that are leaving this weekend, going upstairs to our middle school weekend for the first time, and that's a big deal too. And that means you're going to have some new 4th graders in your group. So there's going to be a lot of moving on and from one space to a new space and all that kind of stuff going on this weekend. And so I just want to encourage you as a group leader, don't hesitate to reach out, to write a little note card to your 5th graders saying congratulations, writing a note to your 1st graders that are there for the first time at the end of the service, encouraging them and thanking them for an opportunity to hang out with them in your group. Great. Cool. Moving on up this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. I want to walk through our small group guides for this week. I'm going to hit 1st through 3rd grade first. I'm going to try and get through these pretty quickly. They're pretty simple activities. The first activity for this weekend, also, I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. We are in the middle of a series called Amped. We've been talking about confidence. Confidence, living like you believe what God says is true. And the hope this weekend is that when the kids leave your small group, they know that God can use them no matter what, that they have the confidence that no matter what situation they're in, no matter what team, classroom, extracurricular activity that they're a part of, that God can use them to make a difference in the lives of the people around them. And so I want you to be encouraging the kids in your group of that this weekend. So now we can dive into our 1st through 3rd grade group guide. Our first activity is a pretty simple game. It's a game where we're going to ask every kid to circle up, sit down, have a circle, and you're going to have a beanbag or some other item that is your item, and you're going to pick one kid to put it behind their back and one kid to be it. And the kid that is it obviously will not see the kid put it behind their back, and they have to guess which kid in their group is the one that has the item hidden behind their back. And after they guess that kid, they get to answer how confident are you. Either they're really confident and they will get 3 points if they get that right, they're confident and they'll get 2 points if they get that right, or they're not confident at all and if they get it right, they only get a point. Obviously, if they don't guess right, they don't get the point. You can do that a couple times, either until every kid in your group goes or until you feel like you've done it enough. And then at the end of that activity, you're going to wrap up and just kind of again remind them of what confidence is, and that our story this week showed us how God can use people even when they're not confident in what they're doing. Our second activity in 1st through 3rd this weekend is going to require us to use some activity pages. They are cards that have a certain act on them of some I'll give you a couple examples. One of them is leading a group project, making a free throw shot, singing a solo, asking a store clerk for help, going to a new place for the first time. All of these things that you're going to ask the kids in your group to pick one out and try and act it out. And the kids in their group are going to try and guess what they're doing. If they need help, feel free to give them some phrases or hint at them what might be going on. Depending on how old your kids are, that might be more difficult or less difficult. So that's our second activity. And the third activity is just wrapping up with some prayer. And there's some guidelines on some questions to ask them before they get in their prayer, wrapping up the story, tying in how confidence has to do with the story and how they can be confident that God is going to use them no matter what. Cool. 1st through 3rd grade group leaders, have a great weekend. Remember, those 1st graders are going to be new this week, so do your best to help make them feel as comfortable as possible. 4th and 5th grade group leaders, here is your group guide for this weekend. Your first activity is called Take a Snapshot. The first thing you're going to do is stir up some conversation about things that we believe God might ask us to do. So these can be things like inviting a friend to church, or being respectful to our parents or our teachers, or treating our friends with love and respect, or anything along those lines. If they need help, feel free to give them some examples. Just have some conversation about it at first. And as you get going in conversation, you're going to tell them that what's going to happen is you're going to give them each 3 sticky notes. And on each of those sticky notes, they're going to write one thing on each thing. One sticky note is going to be something that they believe that God asked them to do that's easy. Something they think that God asked them that doesn't take much work for them. The second thing that they're going to write is something that God might ask them to do that could be a bit of a stretch, something a little more difficult than what they wrote the first time. And the third thing they're going to write on the third sticky note is something that God might ask them to do that's really, really difficult or a challenge for them. After every kid in your group writes one thing on each of their 3 sticky notes, if they need help, again, feel free to ask or to offer your help. You're going to have them put the sticky notes on a wall nearby you. On the top, you want to put the things that are the most challenging, and on the bottom, you want to stick the things that are the easiest. And then feel free to have every kid in your group share a little bit of what they wrote. Lead some discussion about why those things may or may not be difficult. Really, you want to get them thinking about what are things that God asks us to do that are sometimes take a little more confidence than other things. The second activity are some discussion questions, reviewing the story, reviewing how Gideon didn't really have much confidence and God gave him that confidence, and how that relates to us, and how God can use us and gives us confidence to do things that sometimes may seem really difficult to do. And then the last activity, you're going to refer back to the sticky notes that you put on the wall and talk about how even those things that seem really, really difficult to do, God is using us to make a difference, and he's going to use us to do those things, and he's going to give us the confidence to do those things as well. Again, pretty simple activities for your group this weekend. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask your director. I would also encourage you to keep the kids in your group as long as you can. Get them playing some game, just talk to them, get to know them a little bit. Really, the most important part of that group time is not getting through the small group guides, but instead making a connection with the kids in your group. All right. One video. I hope it wasn't too long. We're just under 7 minutes. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Have some fun in your groups. Get to know those kids and really begin to really get to know them. That's what creates an influence in their life. And so, thanks guys. Appreciate all you do. Have a great rest of your week. Get outside today and enjoy the weather. Rizzo, you want to say bye? Hey, Rizzo. Hey. Oh, no. See, he thinks there's something out there. That's okay. See you guys. Have a good week.